Hello, my name is Paul Ross of chimneysweepslimited.co.uk. I've been a professional chimney sweep for over 18 years and I've fitted wood and multi-fuel stoves for the past 11. I've created YouBuyYouDo.com for the discerning DIY enthusiast and a builder who would like to learn a bit more and stay on the right hand side of building control. Today we're going to be placing a flexible liner into a brickwork chimney flue and connecting it to a multi-fuel stove. By undertaking the work yourself, you should be saving yourself upwards and over a minimum of £500. So within that, let's go and see where we start. Where to start? It isn't here. What you've got to understand is if you feel confident using the tools we'll be using and you're confident from working off a roof, that's fine. If you're not, don't worry. Stop. Call in the professional and let him undertake the work. Now, if it's going to be raining on the day you're going to undertake this work, or very windy, that's fine. Stop. Pick another day. There's no problem. Within that, there's one thing you must do before doing any of this work, and that is call in a professional chimney sweep to sweep your chimney. They will give you a certificate of sweeping. You can then place into a file, and then with the pictures I'm going to ask you to take today, also place them in a file. So when building control come round, they will look through the file and hopefully sign off your work. Now, all that being said and done, let's get off the roof and have a look at some of the tools we'll be using. Right, tools. We love a good tool. These are the tools we'll be using throughout this installation. First, the Milwaukee drill. All drills are equal, they're made to actually put a hole in the wall. But believe me, this drill is far more equal than others. It's got all the equipment we're going to be using. It's got different speeds, hammer drill and a drill. And I love this drill. On that, if you've got an impact drill, they're even better for certain types of use. If you haven't used one of these before, you're missing out. If you have, you know exactly what I mean. In relation to that, we have got an angle grinder. With the angle grinder, there's one thing you must always remember. If you haven't got gloves and glasses on when you're using the angle grinder in these tools, don't use the angle grinder, don't use the tools. These are great for what they do, but they are devastating as well, so please be careful. Glasses, gloves, tools. Other than above that, we've got gaffer tape. Great thing is for taping up the fire opening, we'll be doing that in a while. Fire cement. Fire cement comes in tubs, which is already mixed up, great thing to have. I've actually this was given me on my 25th wedding anniversary. You are going to use a socket set, and this one's really cool to me, so I've got every single piece. Brilliant. In relation to that, carbon monoxide alarm. This is a sealed unit battery, lasts for 10 years. You can find more information on this on YouBuyYouDo.com. Thank you. In relation to that, we have got a stovepipe. Stovepipes fit from the liner to the fireplace. This will have to be cut, and we're going to be cutting it with the angle grinder. Again, no glasses, no gloves, don't touch. We actually put a register plate on underneath the fireplace. Now I'll get into more detail on that a bit later. Okay, but just so you can see, register plate. We have got a pot hanging bird guard. Now a pot hanging bird guard fits on top of the chimney pot. The liner connects to this, and that seals across the top of the chimney pot with two straps. And that will be placed, more information when we come to fitting that. In relation to the base of the chimney, we have to convert the liner to the stovepipe itself. And the way we do that is with these. These are, well, you'll use one of these. This is an adapter. It's a screw-in adapter because it screws to the base of the liner. Within that, these come in, this is a 6-inch, and they come in two separate sizes, but on this side. You see, this is a 5-inch stovepipe, and this is a 6-inch stovepipe. And if you get it wrong, you won't be able to fit them. i.e., this will fit into this. And this one won't. So when you're ordering the material, make sure you get the right one for the stove. You can find out more information on YouBuyYouDo.com, and it'll give you a calculator to working out the size of the stove for your room. In relation to that, the last thing we've got to talk about is this. This is a nose cone. This fits actually on the liner, which I'll be showing you in a minute. Fits on the base of the liner and helps make the liner go down the inside of the brickwork chimney flue, so it's much easier and safer for you as well. Oh, and don't forget, we're going to need some rope. The one we'll be fitting today is a 6-inch 316 twin wall stainless steel liner. Now you could say all 316 stainless steel liners are the same, so go for the cheapest model. But this one has been tested and is passed to 20 years guarantee, where most are down to 10. So 316 grade stainless steel liners are all equalled, but some liners are definitely more equal than others. What we're going to be doing, if you want some more information on this liner and others, please go to our website. Go to youbuyoudo.com. And what we need to do now is to sheet the fire opening with dust sheets, and once that's been done, let's go and fit this puppy. Right, now time to line the chimney. What I've already done is place the nose cone onto the chimney liner and taped it in position, and I've connected the rope to the nose cone. And the rope goes down the inside of the chimney flue, and I've confirmed it's coming out of the chimney opening, because you don't want to find when you go to get it, it's stuck halfway up the chimney. Now we're ready to line. Firstly, what I'm going to do is bring enough liner up so it gently goes into the opening. So once it's in position, lift up a bit more weight. There we go. Now what this is, more than anything else, when you start, we've run up with it, that's it, this is manipulation of the liner. I don't put any real weight behind it. I'm not trying to ram it down the inside of the chimney. I'm just gently moving it from side to side as it goes down. Is gentle manipulation. Also, before I started this, I actually confirmed the chimney pot was secure, and also the stack is secure as well. If it wasn't, if the chimney pot was loose, I wouldn't be doing this. I would stop, get this secure, and then start on another day. So now I know this is fine, let's continue. I'm going to lift up and down, and we're going to continue a piece at a time, manipulating, not pushing any weight on it, just manipulating, and it will work its way down to the inside of the fireplace. On these liners, when you'll put them in place, there are arrows upon the liner. Make sure the arrows are facing away from the cone. It's the direction of airflow through the chimney, not the way it's put in. So when you put this in, arrows to the sky, not to the floor. One thing which is really important, the end of these liners are sharp like razor. So when you're touching the end of these liners, always wear gloves and glasses. And even then, be really careful, because these things will bite. The pot hanger bird guard. Now this slides into the liner itself, up to the point where the grips are. There's 3 of them. Then what you do is you push it on to the liner so the grips take hold. You have an internal straps and external straps. So make sure the out ones are out. Bend the in ones over. And then you have your trusty small strap. This you then feed around the liner, making sure it fits over the internal bends. Connect it together, as in there. Pulling tight and clamping off. Once that's been done, then you screw this nut or this screw here until it's fully tightened on the inside. That's where I have my trusty Leatherman. I take out the screw and I tighten until secure. Now that's secure and isn't going anywhere, what you have effectively done This is called a pot hanger bird guard because it's a bird guard but hangs the liner underneath it. So now they're secure, we fold in the wings to make sure they're in, and then gently move the liner up and continue pushing the liner down the chimney until it fits home, which will be in a second once Wayne's inside. My second compadre is inside and he'll pull the liner out of it. I've made sure these wings are out of the way because what you don't want to do is to fit on the inside of the pot. Ready? As you can see. From here, same thing applies. Pull back the wings. Make sure the pot is central. Make sure the strap goes through all three. Pull tight. Same again, this can be sharp, so make sure when you're undertaking this, you have got your gloves and glasses on. Now, we screw this into position, so it's secure. Lift back the wings up, or lift the wings back up into place. And now, the bird guard is connected to the chimney pot, and the bird guard is connected to the chimney flue as a pot hanging bird guard. We've now finished on the roof. All we got to do now is when we get down, make sure we take all our tools with us. And let's go inside now and fit the stove. Now the line is in place, hopefully. So we're going to open up the dust sheet and have a look. Be careful when you do this, this is dusty. Okay, and you could have remains of dust, that's why I'm wearing gloves, dust mask and goggles whenever you're going to do this. Also knee pads, because while I'm working now. So, go on the inside, gently pull the liner out so it's in position. So it's in this position here. Within that, I've got to cut this to size. So what I'm using is my Leatherman. The easiest way I've found of doing this is be very careful. Okay, this is a knife, and make sure your gloves are in position. What you want to do is to cut this, then bring it to height, which is just above this opening here. So the way I do it, this is a lock knife. The way I'm going to do it is cut through, go that way, and then the other way. You cut around the right hand side, bring out the liner, or bring out the knife, close it. Now, you're going to move this liner forward and you're going to see a gap. And you're going to want to put your hand inside to split it. Don't. The razor on the inside of there will cut straight through these gloves and many other gloves. So, frankly, don't do that. What you effectively do is move back from the liner and push. And after a while, it will separate. Okay, once it's separated, as you will see now, it will either tear, which will work as well. But normally what I end up doing is getting some grips and unravel the liner itself. All I'm doing is guiding this to make sure it doesn't flap into my face. I'm not pulling with this hand, I'm pulling with the grips. And I'm just making sure this doesn't unwind into my face. I bring it up to the required height, or near enough to the required height, to get it out of the way. Which will be not much further than that. Maybe one more. This should be perfect there. Now, move that out of the way. Move inside. And what I'm doing is gently twisting this backwards and forwards. Till it tears, like that. Now, the good thing to do now, before going any further, is to tidy up this whole area. So we start from scratch when we put in the adapter and the register plate. So that's what we're going to do now, is to tidy up. Okay, be careful when you move the liner, it can still cut you. Give me 2 minutes and I'll be straight back to you. And that you can sort out outside. This is the stove we're going to be fitting today. It's an FDC 5W. It can actually be fitted in smoke controlled areas. There's a little attachment which just fits into this area here, and then it can be. For its price, I think it's a very good value stove. But the most important thing we've got to know before doing anything else is, for the register plate, we need to know the size between the front of the stovepipe coming up and the back wall. The distance between here and there. And that distance, 155 from the front of the stovepipe to the back of the stove. The manufacturer's installation guidelines for this say it should be an extra 50mm for the airflow around the back of the stove before the back wall. So within that we add 50mm to the 155, requires 205mm to the back of the wall. So now that I've got that information, I'm going to transfer it to the register plate, which I'm going to be marking up and cutting in a minute. See you then. Right then, 205 is what we had from the stove before. So this is the back of the register plate, and I'm going to use it as a bit of paper basically. I'm going to put back here 205. Now I've got to work out which way is the front, and because I want the door on the left hand side, this is my front. So basically arrow F. Okay, now with that, that's my front. The 205 works from this area here going back, and then I'll draw a line there in a minute. But firstly, to get the right sizes, I'm going to draw a box, which is a rough shape of the register I'm going to be cutting. I'm going to be taking my trusty measure. I'm going to be taking a measurement from there to there, which works out at 240. I'm going to place front. I'm going to put 240 there. From there, the back wall is 480. 480, I'll place along there. 480, and I do know the other side is slightly different to that because I've measured it a minute ago. Great things, cameras. So that works out at 255. And for that, I actually know the distances then of what I need to cut this down. And that's what I'm going to be doing in a minute, is cutting this down. So next thing's cutting. Thanks very much. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, well I've taken all the information or the measurements, and now I'm going to transfer them onto the real sizes onto the back of the register plate, ready for cutting. So here we go. As I stated earlier, the 205 is from the open of there, working back from there, you come to a mark, which is here, 205, which is there. Now from there, I'm going to come off the back, which is 50mm. So I know if I continue this 50mm across, oh, excuse me, if I continue this 50mm across, then I can go 1 and 2 and 3. From there, taking one of the angle beads I've been using in a minute to actually set this in place, I will mark fully across the full length. And that is going to be the back wall. 50mm clearance from the back wall, the stovepipe. Okay, so it's going to be 240 across on the left hand side, because that's the front, so it's on the left. So we're going to go from that back forward 240. Which will be on there. On the other side it's 255. So there I'll work 255. Now I'm lucky with this stovepipe, with this register plate, because it's actually the same size as what is required for the inside. So that's why I'm lucky today. Otherwise I would be cutting the sides as well. So now I measure one to the other. Have a better look. And that to that should give me the cut. So I'm going to be getting rid of cutting this away and cutting this away. Once that's left, then I'll be left with the register plate, which will fit into the opening, with that being at the front. Right, time for cutting. Remember, goggles, gloves. Okay, now we're going to cut the angle grinder. For this, it is very noisy, so I know it's a good look, but they work. So we're going to cut this section here and down this line here. Right, now we've got the register plate cut to size. What comes with the register plate are angles. I did mention them right at the beginning slightly. These will be placing round braces on the inside of the chamber for the register plate to sit on. So I've cut the register plate. What I've also done is I put 10 or 8mm holes on one side, on the small sides of each side. Then what I'll do is I've drilled 8mm holes. So they will be fitted on the outside of each side. Okay, like that, on the inside of the register. I've also got the longer one that fits along the back. Same thing applies. I've put 8mm holes, which will be taking the brickwork. What I've also got are these little things. It's very hard to actually put raw plugs on the inside of the chamber because they're made out of plastic. So these are made normally for plaster, but they will fit through, and when tapped home and tightened, they will secure this to the back wall, and then there's no fire risk whatsoever. The only thing you may have to do is on each one there's a tiny little prong. Just pull that back with my trusty Leatherman, and then they are nice and ready to go. So that's where we're going now. I'm going to start fitting this. We start off with the side ones. I'm going to fit this into the left hand side, which I'll be showing you in a second. So, ready to go. Just drilled a hole into that area there, into the hole of an 8mm. Now I'm going to get the up. I'm going to place it into the opening, push back, and with my trusty Leatherman, which you'll see in a second, I will tighten the position, pushing in and tightening, and that should expand the back, hopefully, into the brickwork, like so. Okay, now what I'm going to do is do the same on that wall across here with the longer piece, which is that. I'm going to continue doing the same along that wall there, and continue the same on the opposite side wall, just so we've got that bracket secured into place. Right, now we've actually put the starting of the brackets in the inside. I've continued, and I'm just going to work my way through that, and you can see what I've done. This little torch, by the way, is a snap-on torch. They're fantastic. Anyway, here we go. This is why I'm using the GoPro, so you can get a very good understanding of what I've done. So, on the inside here, I've completely finished putting in a register plate. Where we were last time was I put in these two brackets. I continued to put in the back bracket, and then I slid the register plate up into position and finished off with putting this bracket in here to support it all in the position. Once that's done, I fire cemented the front to seal, and any places where there were holes, I sealed them with the fire cement as well. Other than that, job done. Here, that shows me the centre, and that's the centre of the flue itself, or the builder's chamber, so I know I'm in line as well. So that's fitting a register plate. Right, now let's go and fit the stove, shall we? Right, we're nearly at the end. Basically on the inside of the stove, you've got a collar. And this fits to the top of the stove for the stovepipe to fit into. This is a gasket. It goes on a position, and then the collar fits on, and then you've got bolts that fit through, and you tighten them up from underneath. Now the stovepipe I've actually cut to size. Now measured the back to the ground, took off the height of the stove, and then that leaves me with this, which is 235 mil. I'm now going to sleeve this over the back of the adapter, like so, lift and gently move the stove into position over the top of the collar. Can be a bit tricky, but once it's in, you'll see below me. So excuse me for a bit of brute force and ignorance. Lovely. Now that, as you can see, is in position, near enough, level, and also there is sufficient gap at the back of 60 mil and 60 mil. So frankly, all I've got to do now is to fire cement, open up, fire cement the inside here, put my hand up and fire cement the inside where they join together, and put a Tech screw straight through there so it stabilises the stovepipe. Other than that, one extra thing, do apologise. Now this is a tiny little disc. Now without this, you can't use this in the smoke controlled area. With this, you open that facility on this type of stove, an FDC5W, and all you do is you connect this into that area there. Once it's been put into place and you tighten up, now this is ready to be used in a smoke controlled area. Right, we've finished. The stove on the inside has been had stovepipe or stove cement placed around the inside, and the stovepipe has been made secure and sealed around the top. I'm going to leave this 24 hours before even trying to start to light it. Just on that, more information. The carbon monoxide alarm has got to be placed within a certain area. Look on my website, youbuyoudo.com, and it will give you information on that. Also, a free document Joe the building regulations, free calculator for working out a kilowatt for the stove to be put in, and also a free portal to your local building control would also be on there as well. I could keep on talking about air vents, document Joe the building regulations, and also the installation guidelines for the Pacific stove. Other than that, find it on my website. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. This was youbuyoudo.com. Over and out. Good night. Bye bye. Whew.